Welcome, everybody. Today is February 3rd, 2026, Tuesday. Tonight we have a planning and zoning public hearing and general meeting. We are here in Town Hall Room 206, and it's about 7 o'clock. I'm a little bit late. Sorry about that. Let's get right into it. The first item on the agenda in the public hearing is a continuation of public hearing regarding business site plan application number 54B as in boy, special permit application, also known as PL 25-143, Standard Realty LLC at 805 Boston Post Road. The proposal is to raise the existing gas station and associated service building and to redevelop the property with a motor vehicle service station with 6 self-service fueling positions and an associated 2,800 plus minus square foot convenience store and on-site parking. The 0.43 plus minus acre subject property is located on the northwest corner formed by the intersection of Boston Post Road and Sedgwick Avenue. And it's shown on Assessor map number 16 as lot 4 and 5 in the Central Business District Zone. The public hearing opened on this one back in October 28th, 2025. Since our last meeting, which was at least 3 weeks ago, I think the applicant went back to the LTA. We had another letter from the applicant's traffic consultant. We got another letter from Hardesty and Hanover, and we have a brand new site plan.
Okay.
So what do we want to talk about first? Fred, why don't you just bring us up to speed, please?
Yeah, real quick. The commission last met on this 2 weeks ago on January 20th. And just to take a brief step back here and to remind the commission that the LTA submitted a letter for the record dated January 20th based on their January 15th meeting with the applicant. And then after that meeting, the applicant submitted a revised site plan for the commission's meeting that same evening on January 20th. There was some confusion about the letter that was issued by the LTA relative to the request for restricted movements at the curb cuts on the Boston Post Road. And the commission at that time held the hearing open to tonight, the 3rd, to allow for some further clarification relative to that LTA letter and some further back and forth between the LTA, the applicant, and staff in terms of making sure everything was lined up. The LTA did provide further clarification on the Wednesday after that meeting on January 21st that their intention was for the applicant to provide a single curb cut on the Post Road as opposed to 2 separate curb cuts with one in and one out. So based on that clarification, a second set of revised plans was provided by the applicant on January 27th, reflecting that single curb cut. Then subsequent to that, Chief Maron of the Darien Police Department issued an email on January 30th requesting that the mountable curb that was shown on the revised plan be eliminated and that no left turn signage be provided on an island within the right-of-way of the Post Road.
But the mountable curb is being taken away and a permanent curb is going.
That's correct.
It's not disappearing.
Correct.
It's getting more restrictive.
That's correct.
Okay.
So a third set of revised plans was provided by the applicant on February 2nd, responding to the chief's concerns relative to that mountable curb and the signage. And Steve, as you note, that mountable curb was eliminated with a permanent curb in that area. with signage provided within a new island provided within the right-of-way, the Boston Post Road. Greg Del Rio, the commission's peer review traffic engineer, did submit a letter for the record today dated February 3rd, noting that he has no further objections to the proposed recommendations offered by the LTA regarding the site plan and access modifications.
And further comments, not objections. BJ says no further comments regarding the
Yes.
study or traffic.
Thank you,
Not
correct. Mr. Del Rio is here this evening to provide further clarification and context to his letter. But tonight, Micah Case is here with his team to present some updates to the commission and answer any further questions that you have on the application.
Fantastic.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just asking if
Go right
it was uploaded, the letters, the recent communication with the LTA? I didn't see that.
No, the LTA letter is from the 20th. The
Yeah.
only thing uploaded today is this.
Yep, I have that.
That's
Yeah,
it.
all the letters should be uploaded. All the letters and correspondence should be uploaded to the record. There was a lot of back and forth over the past 2 weeks. We should have gotten it all.
Yeah.
We should have gotten it all uploaded and
Yeah.
circulated to you in your packets as well.
There's 2 letters from the LTA. The second one was dated January 20th.
Oh, I was just, the emails that Fred was talking about, those aren't,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, between these guys. Okay. I'm sure he has them. But anyway, Mr. Kasich, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I think Fred has given a great synopsis, and the reason we were postponed on the 20th was the ambiguities in the letter from LTA, which was dated the 20th, and we received it late in the day. As he indicated, there was back and forth between LTA and my clients, and consistent with their attitude through this entire process, not only in front of you, but in front of the ZBA and the architectural board, they've agreed to everything the LTA wants. Specifically, they have moved one entry point or one curb cut to this side of the project site, which is further away from the intersection. They have agreed to have only one curb cut, and I will tell you
I want to
that's
thank you for all
unusual.
this. Yeah, I understand.
I'm hard pressed to find any gas station on a corner that doesn't have 3 or more curb cuts. So this will now have 2.
I can point
They've
a lot.
agreed, consistent with the chief's request, to the sign, which will meet with the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices, to be placed in the island. And it will be not just a curb, but they've agreed to an exit curb, which is a full raised island to prevent any left-hand turns, which also impacted the plan, which was to have the delivery truck exit to the left, and that will not take place now because of that. The truck will go out to the right, and the chief has indicated a path for the vehicles to travel thereafter and get back to I-95 or wherever they're going without going under the train underpass. And we've engineered it in such a way that that will work for us as well. So the bottom line is, we think we've agreed to everything LTA and the chief have requested. I think that's consistent with the letter that was issued today from H&H. I know Mr. Del Rio is here and he can comment for himself. I would just add that we need to take just a step back and remember what was on this site, which was a tired building built in the 1950s. It had an existing 3 pumps. with two buildings which totaled 3,750 square feet. We're proposing a 2,800 square foot building, which will have the same 3 pumps. It's an attractive, state-of-the-art building. It's been approved by the ZBA. It's been approved for construction by the Architectural Review Board. We only have 1 building instead of the 2 that were there. It's been moved to the rear of the property and set back a lot further than the original setup there. The square footage of buildings has been reduced by 950 feet. The coverage has been reduced from 20.2% to 14.8%. There's a lot more green space. It lends itself to better safety, better mobility, and we've also agreed to the model block sidewalk along the Boston Post Road. And ultimately, we think that the applicant in this case has agreed to all the requests that have been suggested to it, and we're available for questions, but we would respectfully request that the application be granted.
Thank you. Thank you. Where do you want to start? How many employees are going to work at the store?
At once,
Just state,
yeah, Mark Crouchick, Standard Patrolling.
Thanks, Mark.
At the very least 2 per, at a time.
Okay, so where are they going to park?
I mean, they're gonna park on the property.
Okay. So of the 10 spaces, they're taking 2 of them, most likely. Right, so now we only really have 8, plus the pumps,
Pumps plus pumps.
right? But now the question that I have is, and I understand that you went to the zoning board of appeals, and the requirement's 14 spaces. They gave you a variance for 10, which is the one in front of the building. In my professional career, I've never heard of counting the other 6 as parking spaces, because you're taking away a pump. And I before we go too much further, you said there were 3 pumps existing today, aren't there 2? In your speech.
There are 3 pumps on the
One is a
property.
diesel.
Where's the third one?
It's in the middle. There's 2 and then it is in the middle. It is debatable if you can get 3 cars lined up in a row.
You can't.
It would
we've
be
talked
a
about that.
battle, a couple hybrids.
Is that a diesel? That the
Yes,
one
it
in
is
the
a
middle?
diesel.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. There's 3 pumps and 5 hoses, right?
There's 6 hoses, but
There's these on both sides?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So you got a variance for the 14 versus 10, okay? The Planning and Zoning Commission doesn't necessarily have to agree with that, just like we don't have to agree with the LTA, and just like we don't have to agree with the traffic consultants, and just like we don't have to agree with the zoning board of appeal, the architecture review board. Me personally, I don't think it's got enough parking. Okay? Where you can put more parking is on the sides of the building. Now, the building is basically side to side, right? It's 34 feet wide, and I think it is 78 feet long. Yeah, it's 34 and change wide, and I think it's 78 feet long. So if we shift the building over 12 feet, right, or shrink the building by 12 feet, I can get you 2 more parking spaces on the Starbucks side. Right, because you don't want to move away from Sedgwick, but you want to move away from Starbucks, right? Because that's where the congestion is. So if you shrink the building and you put in 2 parallel spaces, I just found you 2 parking spaces for your employees. Now, when I go to my gas station, I'll tell you in a second. When I go to my gas station or my convenience store up in Rhode Island, the 10 parking spaces up front are jammed every single time. and I have to park at the Dunkin' Donuts next door when I want to go into my convenience store. The difference between my convenience store that I go to and this one, you have a coffee store right next door. We have that grass curb, and you can't cross the two. I cheat. I park on Dunkin' Donuts lot and walk into my convenience store, which is the Cumberland Farms. And a lot of people do it because you park over there, you get coffee over there. Because to be honest with you, the coffee inside Cumberland Farms is better than Dunkin' Donuts. So one of my suggestions is to shrink the building, and you can shrink it. If you look at your floor plan, and we did a little bit of research, in town we've got, I think, 4 convenience stores or 5 convenience stores. The Exxon convenience store at 1358 Boston Post Road is 510 square feet. That's really not a convenience store, that's a kiosk, right? We all know what kiosks are. You just drop it on the site and you're off to the races. I think the 2 that you own, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're 180 and 164 Norotan Avenue?
We don't own them, we sell them gas.
Okay.
Dealers, yes.
You fill them with gas, right? Okay. Those are in my neighborhood. They're near me. And I go there every once in a while to get gas and every once in a while to get coffee, and I use your air pump all the time. Those are 1,885 square feet and 1,502 square feet. Okay, you're 2,800 square feet. Those 2, the Shell station that's on Norotan Avenue is not on a corner and has 2 curb cuts, right? The other one, to Mr. Keswick's point, is on the corner and has 3 curb cuts. Actually, yeah, it has 3, and when it was converted from a gas station, which my father-in-law used to go to, in service bays, it was called the Gustus Brothers, I think 1,000 years ago. They closed one of the curb cuts, because it used to be 2 and 2. That's, like I said, 1,502 square feet. The mobile gas station, which is right off of exit 13, which is up the road from you, is 1,400 square feet. 1,400 square feet. So those are our comps, right? Yours is 50% larger, I think, right? If I'm doing the math right, 28. It's actually more than that. It's 1,885 or it's 1,500, so 1,600 to 20. It's 1,000 square feet more. And if you look at your floor plan, there's a lot of stuff inside there. And I mean, our job at the end of the day, if something gets approved, we want the business that's going to go in there to be successful. That's the goal. The goal is not to have somebody go in there and do lousy. I don't know the gallonage of the other 3 or 4 gas stations in town, but yours at $1.2 million per year. That's a decent number. If you're over 1 million gallons a year, the gallonage, that's good. $3.5 million bucks, $3.5 million. That's what the big ones are, like the Sheets and the 7-Elevens and the ones that are up in like Stratford at exit 40. But inside, you've got 9 islands. I think those are the islands where you like the sandwiches and the chips and whatnot. 3 cashier positions, which would tell me you have 3 employees.
It's realistically, it's 2 cashier positions and 1 for lotto. So
Okay.
It's separate, it's not.
I think isn't there a 4th one in the middle? Okay, I believe you. I'm looking at something different. So what I'm trying to do is make it reasonable and make it within the typical size of a small New England town and have enough parking movement there. I appreciate everything that you guys have done so far. Right? There's 2 curb cuts on the Post Road. We're going to go 1 in, 1 out. Now we're going 1. The police department's been all over this thing. We can talk a little bit about the E to F. I think to keep it at an E, and either you can speak to it or Scott can speak to it, or Greg can speak to it. It's got to do with the 5 seconds. You're going to go up to the state of Connecticut and ask them to make the Sedgwick light 5 seconds more and take it off the Post Road. I think that's right. That's how we're not gonna go to E to F, if I'm not mistaken. That's my understanding.
You are mistaken.
Okay. All right, so he can come up and you can fix it. So, me personally, I got stuck in traffic in Harrison last week. I got stuck in traffic in another small town in Westchester. It's 30 seconds. 30 seconds is not gonna kill me, right? The thing that I really care about is the 23 accidents. That's what I care about. Because some kid gets hit and somebody gets in an accident and I sit there and voted to approve this thing, then I'm gonna feel bad. You know, I got a lot of friends that have high school kids and, you know, the high school kids hang out in the area. And it'd be great for high school kids to go there. When I go to Walgreens in the Commons, all the high school kids before sporting events are all getting that Celis drink, the Powerade drink, and they go play football, play lacrosse, and they win the game. You know, you get plenty of people on your side of town, they'll zip in, they'll grab one of those, and they'll zip out. You only get 10 parking spaces, and 2 of them are taken up by employees. Nobody parks at the pumps. So that's my view of this. I think you've done almost everything that the police department and the traffic authority has asked. Greg Del Rio has no more real comments occurring to his. I think Scott answered everything in his professional opinion about the LTA's letter. You know, we can debate that, but Greg has no real opinion on it, or Hardison Hanoverism. But I just know from my professional experience that I've been a real estate consultant and appraiser for 30 years. One of my biggest clients was a convenience store guy around the country. We did tons of these. They all are on a corner. They all have at least 2 curb cuts, but not a lot of them are this big on something that's smaller than ½ an acre. The average size of most convenience stores is about 1 acre of land. This is 0.43. That's where the problem is. And if you don't have enough parking, you're not going to be successful. You're not. So I'm trying to help you out to make you successful. Your job is to get these guys an approval. That's your job, right? So those are things that you need to think about. You know, we can require it as a condition of the approval. We don't have to go through site plans again and all that stuff. You take 6 feet off the left, take 6 feet off the right, you shift the building over. You don't have to go back to the architecture review board. 6 feet, the thing's 35 feet, so 6 feet. I know your size 12, that's 420 square feet less. You still have a 2,400 square foot building, and your other average building size in town is 1,600, right? I'm going to pass it on to any other commissioners and let them give their 2 cents. But that's the way I'm looking at life. George, you want to chime in?
Yes. I appreciate all the effort you went into getting into the details and the background and all the rest that you had. I didn't do that. I had a gut reaction, which was the building needs to be smaller because it's just too intensive use, too much traffic on an already bad intersection. I think I like the new ingress and egress. I think it's better not having a curb cut closer toward Sedgwick, but still, it's going to be a little narrow there, and I just, the complications with a traffic light nearby, you know, within a block of the ingress and egress. I'm not sure I heard whether or not there will be left-hand turn from the post road into this site. You can take a left.
Yes.
Off of the post road, okay.
Yep.
Not terribly desirable, but I understand. That's really where I was coming from. I actually wanted to ask maybe Mr. Hesketh or somebody to give me the numbers. I forget the numbers now, but what is the change in volume of traffic, the gross numbers from what is existing to what it will be as estimated? I don't know if we can do that now or later.
We'll do that at the end. I wanted to
Okay.
go through.
Yep.
I agree, I would like to hear that too, because it's very impactful to the, what we're discussing here. But I agree with what the two of you said, that I think as is that use is very intense for the corner.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking 6 feet on either side. Amy,
Um,
please.
I honestly don't know what to think. I do know this used to be my gas station that I used to go to. So I traveled these pathways and these very much every day, you know, once a week. And I know the challenges that were there before the volume increased. I do think there's going to be more challenges with some of these restrictions. I actually think some of these restrictions on turns only, I'm not a local traffic authority, so I will have to defer on that. But I am suspect that this is going to work based on the volumes that I know are there and are only getting worse. And to the extent that if these building is reduced and the volume for your convenience stores is reduced, I could then, you know, understand that overall the stress on this very stressful corner might be reduced. Intuitively, my gut struggles with it. It just does. And when you hearing that, I did not do the same homework on with regards to the square footage of the other convenience stores in town, but it is an outlier when it's spelled out like that. So yeah, I'm struggling with this. I am on this corner. I really am.
Okay, and just for the record too, and I want to ask Scott to speak for a second, because I remember some of the numbers, but you can bring them up again. In our file, it's public record, we've gotten multiple letters of people that are nervous about this. They, against, opposed, there's not anyone that's really jumped out of the woodwork to say they'd love to have it there. But I don't disagree with you. I mean, this is your artist center. That's a nice looking building.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's going to be set back off the road. The handicap space is in the middle. I don't know if that's required to be in the middle, but it might be where they stick it over to the right. And I get it as per of the ZBA's letter. You can't have the windshield washer fluid outside, and you can't have the wood outside, and you can't have the ice outside, all
Make
that
it a
stuff's gonna be
condition.
inside. And the one that I go to here in town is over on Hope Street. It's now, I think Atlantis. All their stuff's outside.
Outside, right, even in town here.
Right, yeah. I think the one that's the Gulf Station with the convenience store there, I think the windshield washer fluid is next to the gas pumps.
And there's firewood outside, yeah.
Yeah, right. So I appreciate that. It's a good looking building. I think if we squeeze 6 feet off the left, 6 feet off the right, shift it over, I think you got a better shot. I mean, these are our 4 commissioners plus the other one that's not here, and I've spoken to Adam many times, and he goes to that Starbucks all the time. And he's never been clipped in a car accident, he's always complaining about it, but it is what it is. And our policy as a town, and I don't think it's written in, and I know it actually is written in a town planning conservation development from years back, is to get rid of curb cuts on the post road. So you're doing that, you're helping us out. There was maybe
And you can use us as an example for others.
right.
And
There
I'm sure
was
you
a-
will.
I don't know if there was a written rule or an unwritten rule about getting rid of gas stations in town. But I know there used to be one in front of the Deer and Sports Shop. That's before my time. There used to be one.
Dunkin' Donuts was,
Dunkin' Donuts was a gas station? Okay.
there used to be a gas
I
station on
think
Grove
800,
Street.
I think 800 Post Road was a gas station, because that's got contamination there across the
You
street.
wanna- in the past 30 years, there's been 0 new gas stations. I
Right.
mean, there's been renovations, and we've lost about 8 or 10 of them,
Right.
because, for a variety of reasons, which I'm not going to bore everyone with,
Yeah,
but
yeah, don't worry. The other thing about this one, and I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I do not have an electric car, right? A lot of gas stations now do have electric charging stations. If you keep 10 parking spaces and you have 2 employees and one's at an electric charging station someplace in the future, now you're down to 7. Right? I think forward, right? We had, way back when, we had this other application for a 7-Eleven, and they never thought of it, and 2 days later, or 2 days before, General Motors came out and said they're phasing out gas cars by 2030. It's now, I think it's 2035, but that's, that's 8 years away. I don't know if I want to be in the gas business, but you guys are. And I'm going to turn it over to either you or Mike again. Remember, when we started this process, the traffic study said that the convenience store creates more traffic than the gas service. And I think that's still true today. I think the pumps are fine, the number of pumps are fine, but I just have an issue with the parking and the size. So these, George and Jamie had the question relative to the traffic. I remember the trip generation goes up by 50% from the old to the new. If that's what we remember, that would be great. But if we could just state that again.
If I can.
You're the boss, man. You're the applicant. Go right ahead.
First of all, let me say I appreciate the comments and the feedback. And I appreciate your advice as to how to get it approved. Let me make a couple of comments which I think address many of the observations that were made. First of all, and I saw Scott shake his head, there is no degradation from E to F. It was shown on the original plans or the original report, but that's been ameliorated and it stays at that level. In fact, at almost every one of the points along the post road and the turning points onto Sedgwick, the levels remain at a B or a C. And the 1E remains an E. Number 2, as to the accidents, and we agree 100%, we don't want to see any accidents caused by this. And we think eliminating one curb cut, certainly eliminating a left turn out onto the post road, significantly minimizes the risk of that happening. And the data doesn't show that any of the 23 accidents was really caused by this property, which was used as a gas station with 3 curb cuts. Mm-hmm. Finally, I just want to point out, you've referenced the 2 convenience stores on Norotan. And I think, just for the record, 164 also has a car wash. Yep. Associated with the gas station. That's another 406 square feet. And it's got an entire second floor, which is another 1,900 square feet, which is used for storage. And our storage is done on the ground level within the 2,800 square feet that we've proposed. So the total square footage at 164 Norotan is really 3,800 square feet. And it's a building that was built in 1972. It's over 50 years old. It's been repurposed. It's got 5 pumps, which can serve 10 vehicles pumping into those, from those pumps. As to
what I'm getting at is the retail space, right? So with regards to there's a Kohl's in White Plains, right? That's 80,000 feet. My wife goes to Kohl's, my family goes to Kohl's. It's oversized. They put a wall up in half of the store, so it's really 40,000 feet. And the rent's $8 a foot, but it's $16 square foot. So with regards to this one, it's got to do with the selling space.
Exactly.
You're not selling sandwiches on the second floor where you're keeping the beer.
But we're not selling
retail space
in all of the 2,800 square feet either. That's part of our storage. There's restrooms, there's counters, there's cashiers, et cetera. So you're right, but I just want to, for the record, show that the analysis, we need to compare apples to apples here.
Yep.
And similarly, 180 Norotan Avenue, was built in 1969, also over 50 years old. It was a full service station, and it's been repurposed. There was no reconstruction or new construction on either of those when they converted to convenience stores. That's got 8 filling spots. We only have 6. It was repurposed. It's on a corner and has 3 curb cuts, from what I can see. And it's also got a shed there, so it's up to about 2,000 square feet. Well, I'm sure the shed is used for
But
storage.
those lots are significantly bigger than this, aren't they?
164 is.
Yeah,
180 would probably be.
yeah.
I don't know.
Carrie, you have all their names,
All
right?
right.
We're good?
That one's got to be close.
So I think I've addressed all the points I want to address. I will tell you, although I know they don't want to, but I'm authorized to tell you they're willing to accept your suggestion that 6 feet be taken off each side of the building and shifted closer to Sedgwick, so that it creates 2 parallel parking spaces, and we'll accept that as a condition.
Thank you.
That having been said, I'll call on our expert to address some of the traffic questions.
State your name again for the record, Scott.
Yes, for the record, Scott Hesketh, traffic engineer, consultant.
Thank you for
Question.
your letter, this is really good.
I just tried to hit the points and
Yeah,
give you.
copy it and
give you-
paste and boom.
Certainly. Well, in terms of the traffic, the trip generation question, again, using the ITE trip generation manual, which is what we are required to use, it's the standard engineering reference. The proposed facility would generate driveway volumes, an increase of 73 trips, 80 trips, and 51 trips. That's the driveway volume. So if I were to put a counter in the driveway or sit there and count cars as they enter and exit, that would be the increase.
Are those the 3 different driveways today? Is that what we're talking about?
Those are the 3 different peak hours.
Oh, okay, thank you.
If I assumed they were all one driveway and I sat there and counted everybody who entered and exit of the existing store and then the proposed store, theoretically, the increase would be 73 trips during the morning, 80 trips during the afternoon, and 51 trips during the Saturday peak hour, based on the IT numbers.
That's the increase, that's the delta.
That'd be the increase, that's the delta.
Yeah.
However, 66% of that traffic is already on the local roadway network. And if we have a distribution of 50-50 or 70-30, then you can discount that increased volume to any segment of roadway, which would mean that the increased volume on any section of roadway in town would be about 18 trips, 19 trips, or 12 trips during those peak hours, because a lot of the traffic's already on the roadway network, and the traffic has to go in 4 different directions. So maybe 1 or 2 streets would have an increase of 1 or 2 vehicles, one would have an increase of about 8 vehicles, and the other one would have an increase of 18 or so. So a significant increase in traffic volumes, I would say not a significant increase. Anytime you add square footage or add something, you're gonna add some traffic, certainly. We don't dispute that. I would say that all these numbers.
Let me go back for a second. So the delta increase is 73, 80, and 51. So it's morning peak, afternoon peak, and then Saturday peak.
Yes.
What is the existing conditions today?
In the morning, we calculate 41 going to 114. In the afternoon, 56 to 136, and on Saturday, 51 to 102. And that's
So-
the information presented in Table 2 of all the reports we've presented to
Right,
you.
that's what I thought. So, and from existing to proposed, the morning peak's going from 41 to 114, so that's basically almost tripling, right?
40, 80, it's
If you do 40 times 3, it's 120.
It's more than twice, yeah.
Yeah, so it's close to 3 times more.
Again, the
And I'm just
driveway
trying,
volume.
yeah, I understand.
I'm with
I'm
you.
just trying to make sure that everyone is on the same page.
I'm
And
with
that's
you.
at 8 AM.
That's a 60-minute period during the morning, somewhere between 7 and 9, yeah. You want to call it 8, I'll go with that.
Okay, and then the
And-
afternoon,
And I'm at that intersection a couple times a week, exactly during that time. And you have to wait multiple lights to get through it. So the concept of having a triple is staggering to me.
Again, that's the driveway, that's the volume of traffic in the driveway itself.
I get it, but when
So
somebody's
that
going
the
into
additional
it,
traffic on Route 1 would be about one vehicle every 3 minutes.
I get it, but the delay that it causes when somebody's moving into the driveway and then having to turn around and come out of the driveway will back that intersection up. So I'm just saying, have you been there at 9 o'clock trying to maneuver into that intersection?
I have not been there in the mornings, I've been there during the afternoon peaks.
Okay. It's something.
Can I interrupt for a second? I don't mean to take
Yep,
your turn,
yep,
but same
go ahead.
thing. The 41 and the 114, is that divided by the 3 curb cuts? Or is that,
That'd be total site traffic, yes.
okay, so you can effectively divide it by the 3 curb cuts today,
You
which
could-
is gonna get cut down to 2 curb cuts. The numbers are gonna change, but it's just the number of ins and outs.
You cut it down to 2 curb cuts. We wanted 3. So
I,
yes.
you know, I'm just,
Yes, you'd have to divide it between the number of
you
curb
can
cuts.
deal with the chief of police. He's 6'4", he went to my wedding. I like the guy, and he carries a gun.
No, I don't mess with people with guns.
Yeah, me neither,
That's my general rule in life.
me neither.
So-
And then, so the afternoon's going from 56 to 136, which is less than 3 times. And then Saturday, it's going from 51 to 102, and that's simple math, that's just doubling.
And that's based on the traffic, the ITE trip generation manual as of last July.
Understood.
I just reran the numbers, and the convenience store with gas station drops about 10 trips per each of the peak hours, based on the most up-to-date numbers.
Okay. And the other thing to remember, and I took the ball away from you, I'm going to send it back to you, but a lot of this stuff, the new driving lane there, which is a right turn only on Sedgwick, that I think came in August, is that right?
Correct?
Yeah. Your first cut at this study was, I think, August 5th, and then you redid your counts again. We don't have a full year's worth of data on that new driveway lane there.
Presumably that'll get better.
Right, exactly, because,
That lane went away with the snow.
really, okay,
I believe it's a shared through right turn lane.
okay. So
It's an exclusive left turn lane.
so I apologize, I have
No
another
worries,
question
no
too,
worries. No,
but go ahead, you're on a roll.
Nope, that was, I would just jumped in off of where you were going with that. Go ahead.
Okay. And you can keep going, but I have another question with regards to this 5-second thing.
Oh, the level of service calculation. One of the previous iterations of the calculations did show a degradation from a level of service E to F, but based on the comments by H&H, some of the toggles in the capacity analysis situation, the most recent capacity analyses show that the intersection operates. It's the southbound left-hand turn on Sedgwick Avenue that we're talking about,
Which way southbound, going towards the train tracks or going towards Norwalk?
going towards Stop and Shop. So if you're
Oh,
coming,
going, good,
I mean,
right, that's the problem.
every site I work on happens to be the road.
I know.
And you gotta
Me too.
pick one or the other.
Me too.
You know,
I don't know, south to me is
that's
New York
tough to
City,
do,
so that's where I know Stanford south of Darien.
So it's that movement that, in the background conditions in the morning, it's a level service D, about 48 seconds, and it would go to an E about 55. So it goes from a D to an E in the morning. But what guys were talking about previously was the afternoon peaks. It went from an E to an F in the original calculations. In the current calculations, it's an F 85 seconds, and it goes to F 95 seconds. In the afternoons, and on Saturdays, it's F107 to F129. And that's without the suggested retiming of the intersections, which would return it to a level service D, E, and E under the combined conditions with that 5 seconds of time being moved.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. Can you explain to us for the third time, please? What I think I understand is you're adding because the complaint that I have and I get is, I got a friend that lives on Sedgwick, right up the road, and when I leave his house and I go to Stop and Shop, I can get stuck at that traffic light for 3 signals. The first two I'm okay with. The first one I'm okay with. The second one I get a little bit, when I get stuck the third time, I lose my marbles. So you're taking that green, you're taking 5 seconds off the post road and you want to put them on this, so the light's gonna be green, more green, is that proper English? It's gonna be greener, more green, for 5 seconds more, so instead of me waiting for 3 turns, I just gain 15 seconds. Is that what we're doing? That's the proposal?
Basically, yes. The signal operates, I think it's a 90 or 100-second cycle at the moment,
Okay,
and it's split 70-30 or 80, whatever, timing.
Between-
You
okay.
take 5 seconds from the post road and move it to Sedgwick, then yes, it gets 5 seconds more traffic during the cycle, but it gets a larger percentage of the time of the cycle. So it gives more opportunity for vehicles to clear out.
so now who has to approve that?
They would have to go through the Department of Transportation.
Are you planning on doing that?
We have to make an application to them for an encroachment permit. We have to give them all of our studies, which they already have. In fact, we have a conference call with them tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock to discuss what we've submitted to them so far.
Okay, and I'll make sure Greg Del Rio's on the same page. He's signed off on this, I think, right? Everyone knows about this, right? We all know about this 5-second shift thing?
Yeah.
Again, we're happy to make the request of them. I don't know if they'll make a positive whatever, or if they'll decide to do it, or if they'll take a wait-and-see attitude, because again, this is part of a signal system.
Understood, because it affects everybody up the road and down the road. I got it.
Could affect
Okay.
everyone up and down the road.
And does the legal traffic authority, the local traffic, or the police, do they want this 5 seconds switched or no?
They have not said pro or con.
Okay. Because it keeps coming up in discussions, and the people that I talk, like Ellie, when she gets stuck in the morning, she's sitting at because you used to live up on Mansfield, right?
Yeah, but just going through there for
Yeah.
various reasons.
Okay. So that's the 5 6. So does the commission have to require that? That they get the
That's
5
out of
seconds?
the applicant's control.
Amy's right. Really,
Yeah,
it's
it's
ultimately
not
up to
in control.
DOT.
Right. Okay. So
We're
we'll
willing to
ask-
make the recommendation.
But we have to make we make the recommendation, or who does?
I think the commission could certainly, if you were to suggest that's
Okay.
been presented, and you find that would improve, and then if their team also puts it to DOT,
All right, so
Maybe
but
that
we'll
carries
make
on
sure
more.
Greg is gonna give us his side of the story. Okay.
You certainly don't want to ask them to do something you think is a futile effort.
Right, which is the traffic light at the old car wash. We knew it was gonna be a
Yeah,
futile effort.
we don't want to ask them to spend money that we think is very low probability of.
I will let you know, they were quite concerned about the restriping of the intersection, which they had no idea about.
I heard about that.
So,
I didn't do
they may
it.
ask us to remove that, we don't know.
No hypocrites from us.
It's not on the post road, it's on the side street, so it's not their road.
Well, it is their intersection, so it's under their jurisdiction.
You ever meet Ed Gentile? He's a little shorter.
I'm not gonna fight that fight, but I'm
Can I just
just
a
letting you know.
quick question here, I'm sorry, but you referred to the summary of these numbers in table 2. Could you point me to table 2?
I'm sorry, table 3. I
Even
was
that.
looking over through my glasses, I
I found
can't
a
see
table
anymore.
1, but I haven't found 2 or
I
3.
can't see.
And which letter or report date are you looking at?
Everything except for the February 2nd has a table 3 in it.
Okay. So the latest one, except February.
See, if you had paper like me.
Well, I grant you that, okay. All right, well, then it's on.
If you look at the very, very, very first, you'll find the F, or the E to the F, but the subsequent 2 reports or 2 responses, that
Okay.
no longer
I'm looking
appears,
at
I believe.
September 16.
Of course, I've looked at so many different
Uploaded.
capacity analysis in the last 3 weeks,
Okay. That's fine,
They're all
thank
jumbled
you.
together.
I'll deal with it myself then.
Can I ask a question?
Go
Well,
right ahead.
it's actually more, I think you did some of the research on what, the reduction of the size of the building. Is there a thought to, like, how that would reduce the impact of traffic?
Of how many counts?
Yeah.
Trip counts. And I know it's a back of the envelope kind of
Mhm.
hunch, because you've not been proposed this idea until just now. If this,
So the,
if the convenience store was to reduce by whatever this percentage amounts to be,
right,
is it a relationship that would hold the trip generation would, you know, reduce accordingly by the same percentage?
So if you have less square footage,
Mhm.
you would get less theoretically you'd get less trips
Yep.
for the site because the building is smaller.
so in other words, if you had a 3,000 square foot building and you went down to 1,500 square feet, right, you're not gonna cut it in half.
You're not gonna cut it in half.
No,
Right.
it's not
It'd
gonna
be
hold back.
close to half, but
Yeah.
the theory on trip generation is the larger something gets, it's,
Yeah, it's a
the
bit-
rate,
Correct.
the rate tends to, because you've got,
Understood.
you don't have more need for things, but there's more options there, so you spend more time and, yeah, so.
Kohl's and Target and Walmart figured that out too. Their stores used to be 120,000 feet, now they're only 80.
That's correct.
Kohl's was 80, now it's only 40. So they figured they can make more money in a smaller building.
In your opinion, do you think if traffic gets stacked up on site, is it gonna render one of these pumps useless? Like the old building, the old operation had 3 pumps, but the middle 2 were effectively rendered ineffective because you
It
couldn't.
depends how.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Now
where?
with this new curb cut, forced to the side, and people can't make a left, they can only make a right, do you envision on-site backing up to interfere with that pump operation?
Well, we've given people less options to enter and exit, so
I know.
there's more opportunity for there to be a backup on site.
Yeah, I know,
Yes.
I know. Okay.
But remember, just correct us again, this split in traffic between the convenience store and the gas pump is, what was it, 75-25 or 60-40?
I don't think I ever gave an opinion as to,
Well, we said that the convenience store creates more traffic than the gas pump.
I don't know that to be a fact, but one might,
No, we did.
there's a reason
they.
they sell things inside the store as
Yeah.
opposed to not.
Right. Okay.
But they are taking advantage of both users and certainly giving them the convenience of having both the gas and the other service, so there's definitely a large overlap between the two uses.
Because I can tell you, the high school kids, they never fill the cars with gas. Never.
It used to be $5 at a shot, but you can't do that these days.
Every single high school, my daughters, and I got 3 of them, have never put gas in my car.
That's true.
So they go inside the convenience store to get Celsius and get
That just
Gatorade and
means- That just
coffee.
means you have to go more often afterwards.
You got it.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is. And I don't know if the high school boys do it either. Do you have any other questions, Jamie?
Just, I'm still unclear if the LTA has any outstanding issues.
No, we can talk to, Greg Del Rio can speak one more time, but
Okay.
the LTA, I mean, they've been going back and forth with these things every time. If you read the LTA's letter, they can always relook at it again.
What
They're never done.
The only letter I see, the latest letter I see uploaded is the one from the 20th.
Correct, that
That's
is the
the-
latest.
yeah,
That
that's
is
all
the
that
latest.
says.
Correct.
Got it.
That's the
Okay.
latest. George, anything else, sir?
I just have to lay out on the table something that our experts cannot help us with, but that is the fact that when Corbin District opens, we're gonna have another 850 some odd parking spots that are likely to be filled up. So I know that this town is aware of the impact on traffic. It is going to grow, and I just can't have that not on my mind as I consider this.
Yeah, I mean, the goal, the relative where I think what he's speaking towards is there's gonna be a lot more restaurants downtown, and not every single person that goes to those restaurants downtown or those stores downtown are gonna be Darien residents. So the goal in life is for people from New Canaan, Westport, and Greenwich to come here and spend their dollars here and do those restaurants. You any more questions, Amy?
No, not right now.
Okay. Are you okay for now?
I'm
Would
fine.
anyone in the general public like to speak to this application? Ain't see anybody? Okay. Greg Del Rio, if you mind, just tell us the final synopsis of your letter. at the end of the day, you know, you said there's no more comments, but do you concur with everything that they're doing?
Yes. Greg Del
Okay.
Rio, professional engineer in the state of Connecticut for the record. Yes, so we reviewed everything again, and, you know, this thing has been evolving over time, and they've been reacting and adjusting. They did respond to all the comments adequately and
Okay.
acceptably, yeah.
And with regards to this 5-second thing, how does that figure into your analysis?
Well, it's mitigation, and it's definitely a possible mitigation. You know, they didn't study the neighboring intersections.
Up and down the post road?
Correct. I think, you know, Brookside to the north is fairly far away, and I don't think it causes any real interaction. Mansfield's another story. I think if you look at it, I know from my observations, and you'd have to check the timing and everything, because it could be actuated and things are happening. It looks like Mansfield has more time than Sedgwick does, probably in the order of 5 seconds. So I'm hoping you find that out, and maybe they just sync up, because I think Mansfield's right now has more time to the side street, less time. That's why it's the choke point, right? When you drive through, it's usually Sedgwick on Route 1. If there's not a backup at the queue from Mansfield, you're usually going through Sedgwick okay in both directions. I think that's...
Do we know nationally how many, a percentage of cars that have their gas fill on the right versus the left?
No, that's a good one, and I would, you know, start taking my surveys when, when I do our traffic studies.
I got 4 cars, I think they're 2 and 2.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and the possibility, so you're recommending to yes, get the 5 seconds, is that correct?
Sure, I would include it in the permits and the
Okay.
application. I would say that you, because they're gonna look for you and your record to support it from the LTA, so.
And then in your professional experience, are they gonna get it from the state or not?
They're gonna observe it, and then they're gonna come back in some future time period. But, yeah, we have seen them come in and make the adjustments.
Because I don't want to, you know, hold up their building permit or C of O for the state to get, you know, rocking. I want these guys, if they're going to build this thing and finish it.
Yeah, this will be the region, and they'll come and take a look at it and, you know, make an assessment. Maybe they'll do something, you know, it will help now.
How long does it take them to do it?
Right.
Do they do it in 2
I
weeks?
mean, it could use it now,
Yeah,
right?
Don't open the envelope for 2 weeks.
So,
yeah, I mean, I'm serious. It's you know,
This
yes,
is
the
a-
state, it's going to take you 2 years.
Exactly.
yeah.
I mean, when we did this for Trader Joe's, they got their approval from the state in a week. I think 2 weeks.
Mhm.
You know, that's why they got their zoning resolution. Okay,
It has to go through the process,
great.
you know, it'll be in the queue. I don't know how long that's gonna take to get around, and then for them to physically get a crew to go out there and make the adjustment.
And is there any significant incremental investment that this applicant would have to make that process?
No.
Okay. It's just
Not the
it's
way
a-
we're
it's a
proposing it.
time,
This
it's
is-
not
this is
like
going
new
into the box
studies
and-
other things that they would, okay,
And reprogramming it at the Traffic Management Center.
thank you.
Yeah,
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, if it's a low probability, we're not asking an applicant to spend lots of money on something that we
No,
don't
no.
know would get, I just don't think that's fair.
Yep, that's website improvements. Okay, I think we're good. Sure, if you want to.
If it's going to be a condition that we make the request, not that we get the approval,
That's a good idea.
because
It's not
obviously
your
they
control.
could, it's, and as Greg said, from time to time, they come out, if the town called them 32 times in a month and said, we have an issue here, they'd probably send somebody out eventually to take a look at it, and they can make adjustments out in the field as they're standing there without doing a study.
Great.
Whereas if we got to do it, counts, analysis, things, so
Yeah,
if we made
there's
a
a-
couple of phone calls, you might get it done before we leave
There's
the room.
there's a crosswalk up at Dutchess, and I think we lost the chief of police when it first was applied for, and then it all of a sudden appeared. That was 3 years. We're not gonna hold you up for 3 years, but yeah, I mean, if we asked you, made the request, that was a good idea. Okay. Hey, Mike, just couple of last things. I think we talked about this once or twice before, but I know that, and I want to just make sure we're on the same page. This is going to be a standard gas and convenience store, right?
Yes.
If you want to switch it or sell it to somebody else, like a Cumberland Farms or a 7-Eleven, which is out buying gas stations in the state of Connecticut now, you got to come back.
If there's a change in operation, a change in ownership shouldn't trigger coming back.
Change in flag. We did the same thing for, it's called Darien Hollow Tree Self-Storage or Hollow Tree Self-Storage. The developer of that sold one of their other ones to CubeSmart, right? If that gets sold to CubeSmart, they can't change the name of the building. And they can't change the graphics on the building.
I'm fine with that, because I don't plan on selling it to, that's on 7-Eleven.
You have to
We'll agree to that condition.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays 7-Eleven is, yes, they have purchase stations, but they actually will be 7-Eleven stores and it will sell mobile or shell gas. So it's not necessarily, you know, the main concern is the brand of gas. I understand that. That's, yeah.
Okay, so 7-Eleven, Cumberland Farms, anything like that, you're fine?
That's on them. At that point in time, absolutely.
Yeah?
Got it.
Okay,
I do have one editorial comment.
go right ahead, you're allowed to.
Because
close
in speaking with our engineer, he says by taking 6 feet off both sides, it may not produce the 2 parallel spots you're looking for. And he thinks 12 feet off of one side is probably the correct.
Which is fine. If you look at your floor plan, you know, if you look at your floor plan, you can take it off one side, you take it off the other. What I'm trying not to do is make you go back to the ARB
Right.
and shift the peak of the building. If you take off 12 feet on one side and you stub it, they're gonna lose their marbles.
Yeah.
I tell you, they are.
So James DeMayo, professional engineer in the state of Connecticut. So yeah, essentially shrinking it 12 feet. The two comments I have, and it's just I would like clarification from the commission. This way I can do what you'd want. My concern with it essentially shifting this way and having the spaces here,
Yep.
I believe we're gonna end up losing the proposed outdoor seating area that ARB wanted if we put it on that side. However, if we keep this building line here and cut this 12 feet, then we can put the parking spaces next to the dumpster, which I think is a better, because otherwise if we try to take the seating area and put it next to the dumpster, like that's not ideal. So I just wanted to make sure that we're all thinking the same thing.
You have the latitude.
Yeah. And then the only other comment I have while I'm here, just to, because everybody's talking.
Hold on one second. You got his name and everything. That's
Yep,
something.
James Mayo, yep.
Thank you.
Hearing a lot of the concerns about the traffic and things like that. I just want to point out in this zone, the approved uses are commercial sales and services, except for financial services on the second story. So again, if it's not something like a convenience store, it's going to draw more people to this intersection and to this location.
I get it. But,
Yeah,
but time out. You got a variance to give back 14.
I'm not talking about
14 to 10.
I'm not talking about parking. I'm talking about just the traffic in the intersection.
I understand. But if we shrunk the building and made you put on 14 parking spaces, you'd be even smaller. I know what you're allowed to put there, and I know what you're not allowed to put there.
Well, again, I'm just stating it for the record because, again, a lot of the concern has been about the traffic generation of this property in this intersection.
Correct.
And so I won't summarize all of them, but point being, though, is all the other ones, food establishment, regular retail that draw people to this location are going to add significantly more, and those are all approved uses for this zone. So again, this is a convenience store, so hopefully it's not going to add more traffic. I do understand the concern about the parking, but again, convenience, and there will be some customers who end up filling and then walking in. So there will be some overlap, so it's kind of almost like shared parking a little bit, but
If
Just
you-
wanted to point that out.
That's fine. But the thing you have to realize is our job is to know all that stuff, and same with their job. If you want to put a full-service restaurant there, guess how many parking spaces you have to have?
Again,
10 per 1,000.
my
Okay,
point of that
that's 20.
isn't talking
Double
about
it.
the parking spaces.
I
I'm
understand.
talking about the intersection and all the conversation about the traffic there. That's why I'm bringing that part up.
Right, but I just shrunk your building. If you do a full-service restaurant there, I just shrunk your building to 1,000 feet.
Correct.
You want to build a 1,000 square foot building there? I'll approve it.
Again, right now, I just think we're talking about two separate
I
things.
get it.
But yes, and
You're good.
I
I get it.
understand your concern about the parking too, but.
I get it. I get it.
Is this not a permitted use? Is this a grandfather situation?
It's a good point, George. Normally, under current regulations, we do not allow gas stations in the central business district zone. Gas stations are only allowed in one zone in Darien, that's service business. So that's why you see them on the eastern end of town or on Norotan Avenue, as we've discussed. As Mr. DeMeo noted, the retail sales, the sales of Gatorade, Pepsi, potato chips, is a permitted use in this zone as of right in the CBD zone. So like the Darien Sports Shop sells retail. So Mr. DeMeo is correct that the convenience store is the permitted use. The grandfathered use is the gas station, which is allowed to continue. And the, I'll call it the service station, the tire repair, whatever you want, is also no longer allowed in town. So once they lose that,
We have reduced then the nonconformity that existed.
yeah.
Retail
Okay,
service.
I had missed that nuance.
Yeah, retail service as a rate.
Okay.
Just comes down. Okay? Any last words?
No. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission.
With that said, I would entertain a motion to.
Can I ask one more thing?
Go right
I
ahead.
still don't understand where we are with the LTA.
Right. The last we left with the LTA was their January 20th letter.
Right.
And after that was the applicant asked the LTA, hey, I need a little clarification. So I spoke to the chief on the phone. I said, Chief, let me see if I can be the translator. So I came back to the applicant and tried to translate. And I was not a very good translator because I said to the applicant, the LTA is looking for the Trader Joe's style exit. And as soon as I sent the email, I hit send, the chief, when I saw the chief of police is on my phone. He said, we do not want the Trader Joe's style exit. We want it even more prominent because what he relayed to me is at the Trader Joe's exit, while it gently pushes you to the right, and we've all driven it, there are many people who decide that if they don't see anyone coming, they'll just hop the curb. And the chief said, we do not want that here. I said, but chief, we talked about fuel trucks and the Pepsi trucks and the Frito-Lay trucks. He said very clearly to me, and I think he mentioned to the applicant as well, that we want every truck going right off the post road. They can always go on to Sedgwick if they're small enough trucks. The fuel trucks will have to turn right. They'll then either have to go to west and turn right to go on at exit 10, or go to Mechanic and turn left and get on by Trader Joe's. Smaller trucks can get off Sedgwick if they want to go, I'll use Steve's term, eastbound to Norwalk or northbound to Norwalk. So that was the back and forth. A lot of it on the phone, a lot of it my incorrect translation to Mr. Hesketh and his team. And I think when that was clarified, that plan is the clarification.
Right.
So I'm glad you mentioned that.
But the other concerns were in the January 20th letter, with the fire station. There were some other points that were.
Right. The concern voiced in the January 20th letter by Brent Hayes was we want to make sure that traffic does not impact the Darien Firehouse, which is a block across the street. I can't speak to whether that change in the light will adjust it. I think, and I'll speak personally, I'm not a traffic engineer,
they
is by
want the
prohibiting
signs.
people turning left out of here, which basically stops traffic every which way. The more we can stop that maneuver, I think the better off we will be. I've been through that intersection lots, and someone pulling out of here or you've all seen people turning left out of Starbucks, which is a simple maneuver. Basically, you get traffic stopped in every direction so one person can get to no one. So it wasn't directly addressed in anything.
You're allowed to talk to people on the phone.
Yeah, no, but I think what Jamie's saying is there was nothing put in writing in Mr. Hesketh's February 2nd letter that went to that point. I don't know if while they're here, they can, if they can address it.
I don't think, in Brent's letter, I don't think it says one curb cut either. You know, they got one curb cut. Chief of Police said one curb cut. You got one curb cut. It's.
And I think by precluding the left-hand turn as an exit really addresses the impact on fire apparatus.
No, I understand it, I just wanted
And
to make sure we had it.
Mr. Hexeth did respond to that portion of it in his most recent response.
The February 2nd letter.
Yes.
Remind me, is there a fence on the left-hand side that's all just shrubbery? On the line between Starbucks,
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
the line between Starbucks, there's shrubbery there?
Yeah, there's some existing, so there's some existing trees, and we're gonna also plant some more trees as well
Okay.
in the front. But these bigger symbols are the ones that are existing, which are really on the line, and then we're gonna plant some more in the bare areas.
So you're not, there will not be a footpath through the two?
Yeah. Not put there by us.
Yeah, yeah.
Did if you did that, you're going into a car.
I'm just saying, there might be that.
You might have grass worn out between the two,
There
because
might
I'm
be
the guy
that.
that goes from Dunkin' Donuts to
When
the
people
thing.
from Starbucks can't get out of the parking lot anymore.
And people from Starbucks, instead, when the seats in front of Starbucks are taken, they're gonna take your chairs.
Yeah.
Just put a QR code that says, give me so long.
All right, here we go.
Okay,
Okay.
we good?
I don't know. No further
Okay,
questions or anything.
with that said, I will entertain a motion to close the hearing. Jay makes a motion, looking for a second, Ian makes a second. All in favor? Yeah,
Hearing closed.
thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Next item on the agenda is continuation of public hearing regarding coastal site plan review number 391, flood damage prevention application number, flood damage prevention application number 459, land filling regrading application number 599, also known as PL 25-195, Simon and Stephanie Jones at 730 Plymouth Road. Proposed to construct a two-story garage addition to the north side of the existing residence, expand the driveway, construct a new pool, pergola, and patio area at the rear of the residence, and perform related site development activities within regulated areas, including the installation of stormwater management and regrading of the property. The 1.29 plus or minus acre subject property is located on the west side of Plymouth Road, approximately 350 feet north of its intersection of Shipway Road, and is shown on Assessor's map number 57 as lot 35 in the R1 zone. Gentlemen, what do we got?
This application was submitted in conformance with sections 810, 820, and 850 of the Darien zoning regulations under our coastal site plan, flood damage prevention, and land filling and regrading regulations. The applicant was, or the application was referred out to Joe Canis of Ty and Bond. Mr. Canis submitted comments for the record dated December 10th and December 23rd, actually in connection with the related Environmental Protection Commission application for the same property. On December 23rd, Mr. Canis noted that all of his outstanding comments had been satisfactorily addressed by the applicant. The application was also referred out to the building department. The building official, Mike Vitti, submitted email for the record dated December 18th noting no issue with the application. It was also referred out to Connecticut Deep. Connecticut Deep sent a letter dated January 20th for the record, noting that the proposal is consistent with the Coastal Area Management Act. The applicant's representative, Patrick Scher of Redness and Mead, is here this evening to present the application to the commission.
Patrick, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. Patrick Scher, professional engineer licensed in the state of Connecticut.
Do you have an easel for this job?
I forgot to bring one.
It's yours? Is there one? No, John's got to have that someplace, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Crack staff is on top of
Thank
everything.
you.
You're allowed to say that word.
I wouldn't risk it.
Too late. You said we can delete that page.
So it's a single-family residence that's currently developed with the home, an existing driveway. They have a two-car garage that's attached to the structure and a shed, and they are proposing a new pool deck, attached two-car garage, pergola. There are also improvements made to the driveway, pushing out to allow the maneuver into the two bays on the north side of the building. The second story is just for storage and is unfinished. Currently, the site drains mostly towards this existing swale, which was actually identified as a wetland. All stormwater is currently untreated. We are increasing impervious coverage by 3,920 square feet, and we had to design for an additional 582 because we had to account for this hypothetical 6-foot wide pool patio that is now required by the new drainage manual. Drainage is provided by a new Coltex system right here, which picks up the patio and the pool, infiltrates the water quality volume, and then discharges. And then a good portion of the existing residence and the new garage and driveway are all captured by a crushed stone reservoir beneath the conventional asphalt driveway, which allows that to infiltrate before it discharges over the same crushed stone band that it flows into at the north end of the driveway, and it flows into the wetland. We are proposing a robust 10-foot planted buffer along the wetland, so we're really enhancing it, and that helps also.
10 feet wide.
10 feet wide, yes.
And how high is the swale?
The swale?
Yeah.
Maybe it's about 1 to 2 feet deep. It's not very pronounced.
Okay.
And it's currently overgrown with invasive species, so we're gonna go in and clean that out.
Okay.
Put in this boulder demarcation, plant a meadow mix along with native species, so it's gonna be this nice tall meadow type area that we'll only mow twice a year, so that'll provide a lot of treatment to any surface water that's getting to the swale. So despite increasing by 3,900, we're actually providing treatment to over 5,000 square feet of impervious coverage. So we really took the opportunity to improve the conditions of the site and the water tributary to the wetland.
So if I can just restate, your treatment of your remediations can accommodate 5,000 and you're putting in 3,900 basically.
Yes, and then we have
over-designing, so.
Yes, and we also had to earmark about 500 square feet for the hypothetical pool patio as well, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're doing 500 square feet extra, but we're actually treating
Got it.
1,000 extra.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Right, now, I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's part of the new drainage manual is, what would happen is, in the old regs, would say, if you put in a pool,
Yep.
this shows no deck around the pool,
Mhm.
but the new regs say you have to assume a 500 square foot deck around the pool,
Got
rather than the
Yep,
deck
yep,
around.
yep.
or a 6-foot wide patio along the pool, except for where we currently have patio, and if, for example, we're infinity pool or something as
Right.
well, you wouldn't have to count that.
Because the old days, people used to put in the pool
Yeah,
and put the patio.
yeah.
3 years
Got
later.
it.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, okay.
It's a good trip.
We would never do such a thing, so now we're gonna.
And it's me.
I guess we
Careful.
can't really.
You're on the sewer commission.
The site is in a flood zone. It's an AE14 zone. The existing structure is not flood compliant, and the attached garage does not represent a significant improvement. So the existing dwelling does not need to be brought up to compliance with Section 820. The pool, an elevated mechanical platform for the pool equipment, and the pergola themselves will be designed per Section 820, and the garage itself is designed with flood vents and is also going to be structurally designed to withstand all the forces associated with the base flood event.
Okay.
So that's basically everything I wanted to cover. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Just talk to me for 2 seconds about the second floor of the pool house.
Yes.
It's a pretty big second floor. You were allowed to make it into an ADU, if I'm not mistaken. That's not on your application today. But what's the ceiling height in there? Because if for some time, I'm just trying to help you out, if
Yes.
sometime in the future, the applicant does want to put an apartment in there, and it's only an ADU if you put in a kitchen, right? So you could put in 2 bedrooms in there,
Yeah.
and it's not an ADU. But I want to make sure that the windows, that's calculated later, are egress windows, fireman windows, and have the childproof locks on them. You can call it storage all you want.
Yeah.
And there would not be the ability to have an exterior staircase to get up to said second story. It would have to be inside.
You can put the last one we just approved, the guy was honest as day is long. He's putting a golf simulator up there.
Okay.
And he invited me over to play golf. But the ceiling height's gotta be high, and he's gotta, that's what's going on the second floor. I'd be hard pressed to see that it's gonna have nothing in there. You can say whatever you want to say. But if you're gonna do it later, I would get the approval now versus later.
So currently the head height, it looks like it's 7 feet 9 inches inside there.
Up some later than there.
Our client, or my client, they have 4 young sons, and so they're just absolutely need as much space as humanly possible for storage. They've got all the bikes, golf cart, boats.
They don't have a basement?
No, because it's in the flood zone, so it's just a crawl
That makes
space.
sense.
And they have an existing shed out here that they're actually removing. So this, every time I talk to the client, storage. It's but
Ping pong table and flat screen TV?
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
We can have to know.
There you go. And you have no problem with the lot coverage, right? I didn't see that in the survey.
With the what?
The lot coverage? I mean, you're an oversized lot.
Oh, yes.
8%, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to 11%.
It's gone from 8 to 11?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
And all the heights match up this, so they just have the heights on it. Okay. You good?
Yes, yeah.
Jamie, you have any questions for the applicant?
No, thank you.
George?
Set.
I'm set.
Amy? Okay. Anyone in the general public want to speak to this application? No, he's getting paid and he's on the RTM, so. There you go. All right. Anything we're missing, fellas? It's a garage and a pool on a big lot in the bay.
Yeah, they went to
it's a cul-de-sac.
EPC. EPC's issued a report. EPC's generally happy with the improvements that Patrick and his team have proposed, that planted area next to the wetland, the drainage improvements. So EPC is about to issue an approval tomorrow night.
Yep.
And obviously everybody's been noticed on the hearing,
Yep,
people in the
correct.
back, and, okay?
It's the bay.
Yep.
And you're at the end of the cul-de-sac, and I think my son's friends live next door.
Oh, really?
Okay.
With that said, or not said, entertain a motion to close.
Me?
Amy makes a motion, looking for a second. Jay makes a second, all in favor?
Yep.
Good job, Patrick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tell Craig I said hi.
I looked it up too, 78% of US-made cars are left-hand fit, left-side fit.
I knew it was a way lopsided,
Yeah.
because I'm a right-hand fill, and I'm like a minority on that side. I knew it. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
School, you guys.
That traffic's gonna get backed up.
Fran Jones on the hot seat now. The other guy got through smooth sailing.
Well, wait till you hear this one.
Let me hold my breath for a second.
You're gonna ask why we're here.
All right, that hearing's now closed.
Thank you.
See ya.
Next one, continuation of public hearing regarding floodplain prevention application number 146A is an apple, also known as PL 25-184, Matthew Randel Little at 27 Contentment Island Road. Proposal to construct a new pool and spa and associated patio and walkways and perform related site development activities within a regulated area, including the installation of stormwater management. The 3.3 plus or minus acres subject property is located on the east side of Contentment Island Road, approximately 320 feet east of its intersection with Shennamere Road, and is shown on Assessor's map number 68 as Lot 2 in the R1 zone. Fred and Jeremy, what do we got?
This application was submitted under section 820 in conformance with our flood damage prevention regulations. The application was referred out to Joe Canis of Ty and Bond. Mr. Canis submitted comments for the record dated January 5th and January 20th. In his latest memo, Mr. Canis notes that all of his outstanding comments have been addressed by the applicant. Was also referred out to the building department. The building official, Mike Vitti, submitted comments for the record dated December 18th, noting no issue with the application. I will note that this is a little bit of a unique application in terms of the flood zone relative to the proposed work that is occurring on the property. When you look at it from the perspective of the flood elevation, which is mapped on the property as AE 15, the actual elevation of the proposed pool and associated improvements is much higher than that elevation. The work is actually occurring between 32 feet, an elevation of 32 to 35.4 feet, roughly 17 to 20 feet above the base flood elevation. However, because the property has been mapped, physically mapped into the flood zone by FEMA, we are required to evaluate the application from a flood damage perspective. We do
want to get a lawnmower?
Well,
we do have a letter of map amendment in the record dated July 8th, 2013. And in that letter of map amendment, FEMA notes that a portion of this property, but not the subject of the determination comment document, is located within coastal high hazard area flood zone V, VE, or VE1-30. Therefore, any future construction or substantial improvement on the property remains subject to federal, state, commonwealth, and local regulations for floodplain management. So this letter of map amendment in 2013 was granted by FEMA relative to actually taking the house, the main principal structure on the property, out of the flood zone. So this letter of map amendment removes the house, but nothing else on the property. And that's why this is before the commission this evening.
right, this map, this FEMA map for this area of town is wrong. And we noticed this, Dave Keating and I, 5, 6, 7 years ago. We sent FEMA letters saying, hey, by the way, your map's wrong. And they said the way to address that is a formal letter of map amendment or letter map revision. So the applicant, we said to the applicant, look, you have to get the permit or go for the letter map revision. It's easier to prove to us that it meets the flood regulation. And then they, on their leisurely time, could get the letter map amendment. But Rob has designed this pool and the small patio around it to meet flood regulations. Is here to explain from a technical
When
standpoint.
Noah comes.
Yes,
For when all of Darien ends up in water.
yes. So that's the background here, is we acknowledge that the map is wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't get to look at this property, but is this one that has a cliff?
It does. This is,
My 14-year-old daughter likes that song.
My kids would like that too.
Worries me too. Just listen to what I'm saying. Frank Joey's a nice guy.
yeah, this,
Didn't reply to that.
if you've been, this is where the house is now under renovation?
Right, for the record, Rob
Right,
Frangione,
Frangione, okay.
Frangione Engineering. Yeah, I mean, the house was under renovation. Basically, in my opinion, if you look at the FEMA flood map, they painted it using finger paints. I mean, they basically said that it was, AE 15, and the way it works is anything below elevation 15 is in the floodplain. You have to deal with flood management and floodplain management, make sure that the structures can withstand the base pressures, depths, and all that kind of stuff. This pool is sitting 20 feet above the base flood elevation. So the base flood is never going to hit this.
Yeah, I mean,
If it
you're allowed
does,
to build-
Darien's got bigger problems.
Yeah.
So,
You're allowed to build pools in flood zones.
you are, but the thing is, from a flood safety and damage prevention, this pool's never going to see a flood wave, or if, like I said, if it does, all of Darien's
Yeah, we
underwater.
got
So that's why we're here before you, just because it's easier to try and get approval from this commission and be compliant with all the FEMA policies and everything, rather than trying to go for a LOMAR. They got a LOMAR for the house. They've got the house taken out. The house and the lowest adjacent grade that they reference in that letter of map amendment is still 2 feet, or what do I have in my letter here? It's 1.5 feet lower than where the pool's going. So the pool's almost 2 feet higher than where their lowest adjacent grade was that they used to get their LOMAR. So that being said, that's why I'm confident that we meet the regulation.
Okay. So this is kind of sort of simple pool that's going in the back part of the house on the dead-end road on a well oversized lot. Your lot coverage is 8%, we're going to 8%, right?
Right.
We're not building any real buildings, we're just pulling the spa.
Right. We comply with all, coverage, setbacks, the drainage requirements, all that stuff. So this is
Great.
really just a flood damage prevention application.
Okay. Amy, you have any questions?
I'm fine.
You're pretty fine, right? George?
No, can't find a problem.
Pretty straightforward, right? Jamie?
No questions. Thank you.
Good. You're getting lucky. Would anybody in the general public like to speak to this application? Really? You're the only non-paid person here. Well, actually, we're not paid either. Am I missing anything?
Nope, that's as Rob said, they made a decision to come here, prove to you that the pool's gonna be designed to meet the flood requirements, even though it's not in a flood zone,
Great.
and that eventually they may choose to go to FEMA, they may choose not to, but Rob's engineered this properly, and it shouldn't be a problem.
It's 35 feet in the air. They can see the North Fork from here, right?
Well, maybe not quite that far, it's pointing north.
It is a gorgeous view.
It is, right, look left to Tokenie Club, and it's very nice.
There you go. Okay. With that said, I entertain a motion to close.
Sure.
George makes the motion. Amy makes the second. All in favor? Close.
Thanks very much.
Wow, it's.
I told you. I
don't
thought
know,
for sure
man.
you would say that.
I don't know about that one. I was kidding, 35 feet in the air. All right.
Yeah. Good night.
See you, Rob. Thanks, man. All right, that's the end of the public hearing. Now we're gonna get to the general meeting item. Can we do it with him?
Well, I spoke to the gentleman who was here on behalf of Weber, Jerry, he's a local guy, he said, I don't mind coming back at a future time when you have a quorum, so you don't have to worried about it. I said, great, we'll work together on rescheduling. They are seeking to do the work in October, so they have a little time.
But they're not even doing it this season.
Right, they want to get all the approvals lined up. They've been to Architecture Review Board. They have to go to the membership. They have to do some other things. So they're not in any urgent rush, but we'll work together on the scheduling to get them on for, if not February 24th and March 3rd. It's not a public hearing. It's a routine rebuilding of the outdoor area in the exact same location.
They're moving the driveway. They're moving the cart path.
Moving the cart path a little bit, nothing.
Okay, sorry.
It's unfortunate for them.
Yeah. And just for the record, I know we're out of the public hearings, but the reason why those last two were continuations, because they were supposed to be on the docket last week.
That's correct.
So everybody knows we opened those applications last week when only I was here.
I'd be curious if I had missed something.
Yeah, no, I know, it's
That way they didn't have to renotice the neighbors.
correct.
All the neighbors on all these applications have been
Yeah.
notified.
All right, so people from Weburn, if you're watching or listening, your application is going to be moved for your special permit to a later date to be
Yes.
determined. Okay. Next item up for bid. Oh, I knew we had somebody special. The next item up for bid is amendment to site plan application number 306, special permit, the Mather Homestead Foundation, Inc., at 19 Stephen Mather Road. Request to amend the Homestead special permit on a one-time, single-day basis to allow a 150-plus attendees and food sales for the town's 250th anniversary celebration on Saturday, May 2nd, 2026. I put that on my calendar, hoping to town everything. Fred, what do we got? We got a one-page letter from these guys, right?
Yeah, Mather Homestead and the Homestead's new executive director, Samantha Galt, submitted a letter with a request to amend the Homestead's existing special permit to allow one-day exception to allow for the Darien-'s 250th year anniversary celebration to occur on the property on Saturday, May 2nd of this year from approximately 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Similar to what the Homestead has done in the past for their fall festivals. They've come before us routinely on a yearly or semi-yearly basis to request these one-time exceptions. And that's exactly what this is, just an opportunity for them to exceed the 150-person limit on the property at any one time. And speaking with Samantha, she was unsure whether the Homestead would actually even exceed that threshold for this event. But just to be on the safe side, they've submitted this letter with a request just to get the commission's blessing. And of course, Samantha is here this evening to answer any questions.
I'm actually Christy Moore.
Yeah.
I work with Samantha.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. With regards to the fall festival, I thought that was like 250 cars, no, or people? Isn't it like it's a huge number, because we doubled it the last time.
Yeah, I believe that number did exceed the 150 limit. So
Right.
the existing special permit that's in place for the Mather Homestead caps these events at a certain number of events at 150. So
Right.
whether it's 175 or 250 or 300,
Right.
it makes no difference. It's still that request is still required to exceed that cap.
So do you know if they're doing the fall festival too? Or so you're gonna do two? Okay.
So,
Welcome. Sit
Thank
your
you.
name for the record.
Good evening, Commission. My name's Christy Moore. I'm the Assistant Director at Mather Homestead. I work with Samantha Gall. And so this event on May 2nd, we're doing in conjunction with the Museum of Darien. Ours is going from 2 to 4. I believe they're 12 to 2. And they're going to be doing a reenactment, and they have stations set up at the Museum of Darien. We are going to use the barn for some storytelling, and then have a reenactment on the property. And so you explained it very well. You know, we don't necessarily, we've had reenactments before and we have not exceeded the 150. I don't necessarily, you know, because this year, because of America 250, there's more interest in revolutionary events. So maybe we'll get, you know, maybe we'll go over that, but it's an unticketed event. So we can't keep track of it like we can with the Fall Festival, which that's over 3 hours where people come and go. And we do get a lot of people on property at the Fall Festival, but it is a give and take. This one, we think people will be coming for the reenactment, so it'll be more, they won't necessarily be coming and going as much as they do at the Fall Fest. We don't anticipate nearly the traffic that we get at the Fall Fest, and we will have police there to help with parking, as we always do for any kind of big event.
Will John Cini be there with a red?
He just rolled off the board, but maybe he'll come.
He usually wears a yellow vest.
Yes, he does. He helps with parking as well. Yep.
Where is parking? I'm sure I've seen it in a past letter, but.
So we have a tiny lot that doesn't, we have a tiny lot next to the barn, but for big events, we park on the grass, up right facing Brookside, on the inside of our fence.
On Brookside?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so as you're going down toward Norwalk?
Going towards New Canaan.
Okay, yeah,
Canaan.
West Norwalk Road, anyway, right? Yeah. Okay, I see. So all the cars would go in there?
All the cars go in there, and all the officers that come know the drill. We actually have an officer that lives on the property who sets up stakes, and then whomever comes, and he actually has a plan kind of drawn out. So whomever comes kind of knows how to do it. No street parking. No.
That's for staff and everybody else?
Oh, yeah. No, we, staff and everybody else. I mean,
Isn't
I'll
the
probably
parking-
park behind the barn. I'll probably stick my car behind the barn, but,
Okay,
yeah.
I get it.
Isn't the parking, the barn's on the, if you're going up, the barn's on the New Canaan side of the side street, right?
The barn is on
the
Stephen Mather Road.
Right?
That's from that, because we have two entrances. We have an entrance on Brookside and one on Stephen Mather. And so the barn's off of the Stephen Mather entrance, and there's a small lot next to the barn.
Right, and isn't the field on the south of there?
Correct.
Yeah. Is that,
But when
that's-
people come for events, they walk the property, and the reenactment will be on the lawn in between the barn and basically where they're parking in the cottage
That's what I
there.
thought,
So
okay.
that's where kind of all the action's going to be.
Okay, to say, if you could just put that parking plan in the file, the same way we've used for the last 3 years.
You can
that
just
helps.
email it to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
The parking plan would be the same as it usually is for the Fall Festival?
Mm-hmm. Except there'll be less cars.
Yeah.
Yes. The only problem with this one is this is a shotgun. Everyone's gonna be there at the same exact time for the thing. Whereas the other one, if you have 300 people, you have,
Coming and going.
The Barsantis go at 9 o'clock in the morning, leave at 10. I go at 12 and leave at 1.
The Fall Festival's over 3 hours. I mean, to be honest, it peters off at the end, but, we're not
Okay,
gonna get
that's
300
fine.
people at a reenactment, unfortunately.
Yeah. What's that?
I don't think we're gonna get 300 people at a reenactment, unfortunately.
I'm going.
That's great,
Four
come.
kids.
We hope we do, but,
Jamie, any questions?
No, thank you.
George?
I'm just thinking of the neighbors, they are all informed of what's going on, or?
Yeah, I
They
mean,
didn't
all
get
the
notice of this?
neighbors
Yeah.
receive most of the neighbors receive our, they're on our email distribution, so they'll know about it. And we are gonna be promoting it with, because we're doing it with Museum of Darien, I think, we're still shaping it, but I'm pretty sure we'll have lawn signs that, have maybe both logos, and it'll be we'll market it as best we can, because we do want it to be successful.
I think, as far as I know, we haven't heard back from former events, earlier events, that complaints by neighbors or anything.
Yeah,
This one dude from New Canaan complained.
Oh,
yeah, there's always, I don't want to say
Recently?
complaints,
Recently?
but not
Yeah,
within the
yeah.
past few months, but certainly,
We've worked
That's since
hard.
Thanksgiving.
but we've been in constant,
We've worked hard
communication and
to,
trying
Okay.
to
They
be
sent
good
a QR
neighbors, so I
code
would
out
hope
there.
that you haven't heard from anybody.
Well, you've got the land trust as a neighbor, right?
Mhm,
They probably,
mhm.
as long as you don't park on their land, you're good.
Their parking is actually they use our parking.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
Okay,
mhm.
good. All right, good, thanks.
The Homestead has also been very good at submitting quarterly reports to the Planning and Zoning Department, demonstrating their compliance with the special permit, which is very helpful, and they've been in full compliance with everything in past years. So we really have no issues or concerns with this.
You should advertise that, because a lot of the other clubs and organizations don't.
Yeah, no, it's important that you're able to say that
Yeah.
at this point.
All right, cool. So let's take a straw vote. All in favor of granting them the one-time, one-day single permit for over 150 people? Say aye.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Any opposed? Nope.
Great.
You're approved.
Thank you.
All right,
You're welcome. Thank you. All righty, next item up for bid. Okay, going into the next part of the general meeting, deliberations only on the following. Business site plan application number 313, special permit application number 344, also known as PL 25-120, Heights Corner LLC at 90, 100, and 188 Heights Road. Proposal to redevelop the property as a mixed-use residential/commercial and perform related site development activities, including the construction of parking, public plaza areas, installation of landscaping, lighting, and stormwater management. The applicant proposed to construct one 3-story mixed-use building with commercial space on the ground level and 20 1- and 2-bedroom dwelling units on the upper floors. We kind of sort of deliberated this once already. So for this meeting, I asked Jeremy and Fred to do what I affectionately call the green sheet, which is, maybe you guys don't get the color green. I get green. I get green.
Talking points?
Talking points. So that's what we did. I can go through a couple items. I think everything is pretty much in order. And I think Adam did make his comments too, but Fred, we already instructed Fred, correct me if I'm wrong, to draft up a positive resolution.
That's our understanding. Fred started digging into it in terms of covering the various topics. There were a number of conditions of approval that were discussed along the way. There was the latest, you may recall, the final site plan with some changes, moved the generator on the roof, moved the building, cut a little piece off the building, moved some things around. The deliberations were, I think it was 2 weeks ago, January 20th. Went around the table, spent a little time talking about it, and getting a sense. Fred, was there any one specific area you're looking for more feedback?
I think we're covered for the most part. There was some open questions relative to the fire marshal's comments and the requirement for the standpipes in the building, as well as whether or not there was, I guess, a desire by the commission for the applicant to install an extension to the water main in the vicinity of the project. However, there's been a number of issues and concerns raised relative to that.
Which are?
So I'll get into it. Let's go through the green sheet. We'll start on page 2.
Yeah, okay.
And then do the other one.
Yeah.
So I think you can
Page
see
2, all right.
page 2. Right? So the first one was parking. We've got 75 spaces, applies with the first floor financial office use. They're going to put a financial office tenant in there, which is their parking, I think, is 4 per thousand.
Yep.
And there's no, in this one, we didn't have to do any shared parking agreement because of mixed use. The next one was inclusionary housing. We told them, or we suggested last time, to take the fee in lieu of the 3.2 number of units. That's approximately $1 million, somewhere in that neighborhood.
It's a small number of units.
Right, it's a small number of units. It's easier to make them all market rate and then take the cash. And the selectman is on board with that. Stormwater management, they're putting a bunch of different Cultec systems in there. I think a lot of the Cultec systems are going under the building, and there's also going to be a system across the street in the, what I call the black parking lot, which is now a dirt pile that always floods when cars are parked there. The public plaza space as designed meets and exceeds our 10,000 square foot requirement of public plaza space. I would note for the record that some commissioners in future applications don't necessarily like the idea of having sidewalks as counted as public plazas.
Thank you.
We'll take note of that, yes. In defense of this application, if I may, some of the reason for the public plaza is to get people from point A to point B, which point A to me is like the post office and point B is over to Equinox. It's going to make it a lot walkable and a lot safer for a lot of people.
Yeah,
But
I have no
you're-
problem with the walkway. It's just
Yeah.
calling it a park.
Yeah, you're 100% noted.
Plaza, not park.
Yeah.
Sorry, but not green space.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. I know.
We had some issues at certain point in time with parking and sizing and noise and sidewalks around the building. So they put the generator up on the roof, which is, they're going to engineer that thing. The refuse and recycling, I think the recycling and refuse container is, if you're staring at the building, it's to the left, all the way in the back, which is going to be close to where the fresh green light driving is. That should be fine. And the amount of, we're not requiring them to have, 72 pickups a week or something like that, but just do it as noted. I'm the only guy that uses paper in my office now, so I don't know how much garbage the retail people do, but a lot of stuff does get recycled. So they'll deal with that. With regards to the lighting and the landscaping, I'll go to the last sentence in there. I know Commissioner Riley wanted to move the crosswalk that's really crossing Edgerton Street to line up a little bit better and move it down closer. I think we got testimony from the architects and engineers that they put it in the spot that they think is best. But Commissioner Riley or George.
Architects and engineers now.
Yeah.
But I'm
George
okay
made his,
with it.
he made his note of it, and he's I think he's acquiescing. He might vote
Oh,
against
I'm
it.
acquiescing.
There you go.
On that issue, yeah.
Um,
I think it'll be used more if it went where I suggested, but fine.
Okay. And then Matt Pop did his changes to the ARB's letter. The landscaping between this parking lot or our parking lot and the post office parking lot, for lack of a better word, is going to be low-rise, not high-rise. But there's going to be a bunch of bushes and whatnot, so people can walk through those things, similar to what we were talking about earlier relative to Starbucks and the gas station. So that's page 2. The fire marshal comments. Where I want to start in the middle of this one too. Where was that? Okay, that's it. On the bottom, if you look at fire marshal comments, the second to last bullet point is verify adequate supply for firefighting. This shall be provided through Aquarian water with a recent fire flow test. So that's something that they're going to have to do relative to the building permit and to get their C of O. If there's not enough water pressure in the pipes for their building permit and their C of O, then that's going to be their problem with Aquarian. So if you go up to the top of that fire marshal comment, the fire hydrant is going to be installed in front of the building and approved by the fire marshal. We do that for half of the buildings in town. Is the fire marshal makes them put in a fire hydrant, which is great. The next one down is recommend the extending the water main through Edgerton Street to tie into Heights Road and West Avenue. I just start on that one, the word recommended, extending the water main. We did a little bit of research. It's 350 square feet. It should cost about $400 a foot. That's, if you do the math, that's about $150,000. But if you go down to what I just said a minute ago, verify adequate water supply for firefighting, this shall be done through Aquarian. They have to be able to get the building permit, they have to verify that there's enough water there. So if there's not, then they have to do the extending of the water main. Okay, it's also a recommended thing, it's a nice to have. It is not permitted by the state of Connecticut to require people to off-site improvements. We can't make somebody build a park in the state of Connecticut around the corner. but we can recommend it. So I think in the resolution, we should state it so. But it can't be a quote-unquote requirement.
Is that just in Connecticut? Because you
Yeah.
can certainly do it in New York.
You can do it in New
Yeah.
York. When I do deals in New York,
You
like,
do it all the time.
if you build an office, if you build an apartment building in New Rochelle, they
Yep.
can make you put a baseball field 3 miles away.
So that is a law on the books, that you cannot make that a requirement in the state of Connecticut.
That's correct.
Yeah. If they say, like, for argument's sake, relative to Darien Commons, we had them sync all the lights from West Avenue down to, like, whatever it is here. What's this, Park Avenue or something like that? The street?
Park Place?
Park
Maybe it
Place?
was to Maple Street.
To Maple Street, we required them to sync all the lights, and the applicant said, sure, we'll do it. And they,
So do we know what the applicant is going to say when we say recommend this? Are they going to say, sure, we'll do it? Are they going to say, nope, we're not doing it?
they're gonna verify the adequacy of the water supply for firefighting. Because if it's
And
close.
if it's adequate, then they're not doing the extension?
That would be my guess. That would be my guess. But if it's not adequate, like, we ran into the same problem with regards to 7 Sedgwick. We went round and round and round with the sewer department and said, was there enough sewer capacity there? And I think there was sewer capacity for 1 extra unit, or, they're building, I think, 18 there. If they build 19 or 20, it didn't fit. If they build 18, it fits. That's gonna make a problem for that next guy. But I think that's the way it is. I mean, I would hope they would do it.
Yeah, me too.
It's Aquarion's pipe, and it's the town's pipe. So Aquarion can easily pay for it, and they have some plan, I guess, in town to fix all that. It's for redundancy is what it is.
I'm sure these applicants, as local folks, understand the value of goodwill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yep,
Um,
you would hope.
The next one there, the building permit to protect full fire sprinkler in accordance with that. That's a no-brainer. The next one, the standpipe shall be provided in all stairways in each level. That's what the fire marshal wants, that's what he's gonna get. In all our other new buildings, there's all standpipes in there. Fire apparatus turning shows on the fire apparatus not to be sure to meet buildings requirements. Meet Darren's requirement, will meet Darren's requirement. Again, that's a building permit issue. They gave us plans and whatnot saying that it does work. If they want to get their building permit, they have to do that. The next one, the building shall be fully protected by an addressable fire system with smoke detectors and all that. That's another building permit item. And then the last one is fire lanes to be provided on the location approved by the fire marshal. Again, that's a building permit issue. You can't get a building permit without that. What else? Going back up top, the building amendments, or the zoning amendments. If you guys remember, all the zoning amendments that they asked for were basically dropped, except for the 10% of the space in the basement. I think they might have I don't know how high the basement's gonna be, maybe they're gonna have a golf simulator down there or something. The floor plates are 10,000 square feet, I think is the biggest floor, maybe it's 11. So the space in is gonna be 1,200
They
square
did submit a
feet.
floor plan showing what spaces would be finished.
Right.
I think they're going to put some bathrooms down there, some storage, but they did reiterate that they want to put some storage for the apartments in the basement as well.
Which is not, that's the storage lockers,
Correct.
which is the cages that you
Yes.
see in a lot of brand new apartment buildings with the lock on it. That's not finished space.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
It's gonna be concrete floor, open ceiling, lighting. When you start doing sheet rocks and ceilings and floor tile, that makes it finished. You can put a golf simulator on the concrete floor too. I think that's what they did over at Heights Crossing, if that's the name of it. Then the last thing, and then I'll turn it over to anybody else, is the Architecture Review Board reviewed the plans. They gave them final reports for it. And then the last thing was some of the commissioners, including myself, thought that I don't have to get into too deep of it. I think they went above and beyond what they typically do. And I don't think you need those boulders there. I think these guys can decide what they want to build. I would not enforce the applicant to put in boulders. And then the other one was some back and forth with regards to the brick pavers. But Jeremy deals with this stuff all the time. When you go and pull a building permit, even if you get through zoning and pull a building permit, you have to go through it again to make sure everything in the building permit ticks. So I'm not really super worried about the brick pavers. They're not putting down brick pavers for 2.5 years.
Correct.
You know, the building's gonna be finished, it's the last thing you put in.
We've basically written the draft resolution to reflect that the treatment on the streets and the sidewalks is reflective of the two adjacent developments, right? Darien Commons and Heights Crossing, and that everything sync up and, you know, be consistent in terms of design of the sidewalk, design of the crosswalks.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, even in front of, when you come out of Darien Commons, if you leave Gregory's Coffee and you go down the stairs, you hit the red brick crosswalk. Then it weaves around, it connects up in front of the old, what was the stationery place that was there?
Oh, yeah.
Invitations, and then it matches up with Valvalas, and then it matches up with the dry cleaners and whatever else is there. And then you get the Leary Liquors, and it goes up 3 inches because it's a curb, and it dies. So I think what's going to happen is the new one is going to somehow or other connect with Leary Liquors in some way, shape, or form. I don't have that plan in front of me, but it should match up. I don't know if when you cross over, because the only thing I would say relative to you, and you're 100% correct, but I think on the Darien Commons size, it's mostly red brick. And I think on the Heights Crossing side, it's mostly gray brick. So it's different colors. How it matches up, I could kill that.
We'll have to double check that.
Yeah. I mean, I was at Raphael's on Sunday, and it was gray, and I was at the other place. And it was red,
Logically, it should probably match up with Federal because you will literally see it closer than Palmer separates.
Right, it does.
Separates it, so visually, I would think it should jive.
Because the sidewalk in front of, sidewalk in front of Wells Fargo, which V20 put in, is definitely gray. And the sidewalk in front of Valvalas and the dry cleaner is definitely red. So somebody's gonna have to match up at some point in time.
Yeah.
But, I don't think us on the P and Z have to really sweat that much too much. Is there anything that anybody want to add to this, subtract to this? Are we missing anything in here? I think, you guys do a great job putting this together. I appreciate it. You want to add anything, George?
No, I appreciate the points that you highlighted, and no, it's all good.
Thank you. Jamie, you okay?
Yeah, I am. The only thing I was, again, I think this goes back to code, but it says in the minutes that the standpipes weren't required, so I think we had that in with the fire marshal.
Yeah, we're putting them in.
They are, so, okay, that's, it was just a technicality,
Yeah,
but that's
he's getting standpipes. Every other building we've approved got standpipes.
Okay.
Amy?
I hope they
Best
make the
for last.
connection. I hope they make that water connection.
Oh, yes, you mean the road,
Yes,
she's
I
right.
understand
I
that
mean-
it needs to be recommended, but I'm hoping that they do that.
I mean, it's probably a $25 million project. I think $150,000 is not going to move the dial.
Yep, that's what I would hope they would do it.
The town kicked in, Aquarium kicked in, it is. But my recommendation, if you're ripping up the street to put in something,
Yep.
might as well keep ripping it up. Just get it done, right?
Yep.
We widen the street and call it a public plaza space.
All right.
Okay.
Any other deliberations? You guys good?
Good, thank you. Very helpful.
All right, I appreciate that, guys. Next item on the agenda is deliberation only on public hearings closed tonight. Do we want to knock off those two
30
pools?
Plymouth and 27 Contentment
Yeah.
Island.
Anybody have a problem with the 27 Contentment Island pool?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Anyone have a pool, deliberating on the 27 Contentment Island pool?
I think we're good with that, right?
Okay, so I would recommend, ask staff to write a positive report on that one.
Yep.
Or recommend to approve. And then the other pool and spa with the.
30 Plymouth with the
With the
Driveway
ADU in the
expansion.
second floor, the kids play around the second floor of the garage.
Potential. ADU.
It wouldn't have to be an ADU, but I'm telling you, it's gonna be, they're gonna have a pool table out there. I'd send my kids out there. Yeah. Any questions on that one?
No.
You good? You good?
Oh, okay.
Please draft a positive resolution for that one.
Okay, good.
Chairman's report, I did have a couple of things to talk about, but it was, I wrote it down on last week's thing. I don't know where the hell it is now. What did we do? The only thing that I want to bring up to people's attention is Jeremy invited me to a meeting with a potential pre-hearing applicant on 100 Tokenique Road. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Sure,
It happens all the time when you have people come in and ask what's going on.
yeah, certain applications, like Fred and I had one today where it's more minor nature, but because of the nature of that property, Steve sat in, we talked a little bit about their desire, and of course, their question always is, what are the concerns and issues going to be of the commission? And usually, Fred and I almost always say traffic, because that's invariably the concerns of the commission for any large project. No matter what street it's on, it's going to be, how do you manage the traffic coming in and out, especially at peak hours? Certainly, that property at 100 Tokenique Road, in the back corner, there's some flood zone, there's some wetlands in the back. If you haven't been there on a day like today, you can see clearly.
Which one is 100? Is that Zotos or the next?
Zotos. Zotos made an announcement in the fourth quarter that they're moving to 14 Research Drive in Shelton and 4 Research Drive in Shelton.
Okay. Sorry.
That's fine. No,
So-
the building's been on the market for sale for
Many years.
5 years.
Yeah. So certainly, that because it's a big property, you're likely to see a lot of development. We mentioned that the concerns mainly due to traffic. How will you manage it? And mentioning that, the commission certainly, we've seen, and I'm not saying anything out of school, is concerned about, we've heard this through the town plan, concerned about overdevelopment, too much development. And we've talked about that. And so those were the messages we relayed back to this person who was thinking of purchasing it and developing it. And, it's interesting, and I don't know if you have a different number, Fred, but for every person we meet with, whether it's a big project or large project, what would you say, about half go ahead with the proposal they put forth, and many times the proposals either change, get modified, they come back, or don't proceed at all. So these are typical meetings we have, but the reason Steve's bringing it up is because it's a very large property by DRN standards.
I would add, and it's a thread that George has mentioned a couple of times. When we get, I have no idea what the intentions are with this, but if their intentions are to build and go seek a third story in exchange for public plaza space, in that situation, you're a standalone
Right.
site. I would not, in my opinion, view sidewalks and covered spaces like that to be part of, for the public good.
It's
In this particular case with what we just did on Heights Road, you have 2 other projects and moving bodies and train stations, and that I understand. But if you're kind of carved out in the middle of a thoroughfare, I don't see public sidewalks between buildings.
It's a different dynamic,
It's
absolutely.
a different dynamic, and I would have a hard time qualifying that stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
Glad to hear that.
two things. One is the maximum height is the maximum height, and questions like that came up, and we told them dead on that somebody else tried to exceed the building height, and that was immediately pulled out. Because it was,
Okay.
people, we're not gonna bend any rules for anybody to get an additional 2 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet on anything. The other thing relative to that is, remember, this site is zoned for office. So it's a triple-edged sword. If you're gonna switch, if you want to put residential there, first you gotta switch it to residential.
You have to rezone it, yeah.
Right, and you have to have it by special permit, and you have to have a traffic study, and then even before it comes to us, it's gotta go through ARB, and sewer commission and EPC because of the wetlands. There's all kinds of stuff that's.
LTA, again, would weigh in because of this
Well,
sheer
so-
scope of the project.
It is not a no-brainer that you're gonna get it switched from
Yep.
office to
Yeah.
residential in the first place.
Yeah,
Um,
but, you know.
But, excuse me, the third piece is, to get a third floor, you don't have to do public space, you have to do affordable housing. Like on the one that's, where Carl put the third floor on, what is it? The old bank branch, 1890?
Oh.
No, the other end of town.
Oh,
Well, one that was supposed to go.
Inclusionary zoning got them a few more,
That's Moots
Feet.
and.
Yeah, Boots, it's not there.
Whatever.
And
yeah.
I don't think there's any, so to get the third, there's different ways to get the third floor, and they're not all just public plaza.
Yeah.
There's no public plaza over at Moots or whatever you want to call that building. And I don't really think there's public plaza at Parklands. I think they got the third floor because of either the overlay or the affordable housing piece.
I'd have to think about that.
Did they ask how they could get a fourth and fifth floor? on
No.
commercial building?
That is good.
They
I
did
have
not.
no idea.
Good.
David Genevieve's building is definitely 5 stories.
Oh, yeah. Does he deny that?
No, when I drive by it on I-95, there's
Oh, yeah.
3 sets of windows, there's a roof piece, and there's a bottom piece.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's a 5-story building. So that was one thing I wanted to mention. And I think, was there anything else that we did in the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks? Nothing. Oh, my really important thing, February 14th is my daughter's birthday, and we're going out to dinner on February 10th, which is the date of our next meeting.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So that,
You don't
you stole my
schedule
thunder because
kids?
we're likely to cancel that meeting on the 10th.
Oh.
And the week after that is school vacation week, so I would
Oh,
imagine
my.
we are not scheduled to meet school vacation week, and I imagine for many of you, it's not going to be convenient to meet that week anyway. So it's likely we'll get a couple weeks off, and then we'll have some meetings February 24th and March 3rd, and those will be pretty full nights. Just the way it shakes out.
So that's the end of the chairman's report. I don't think there's anything else. Director's report, anything special, Chairman?
No, Fred and I are going to be working on trying to schedule hearings and meetings on the POCD with Neil, and try to get everyone on those upcoming meeting nights, late February and then into early March.
Anything you want to share on the DOT people?
Not yet. DOT, as we may have mentioned it before, they are looking at every town that has a train station that goes through it for sites to work on public-private partnerships with DOT. So for example, you've all heard about Stamford. DOT provides the land, Stamford finds a developer, and they work. So they've floated the idea to many communities. They did mention that they do have a couple takers in New Haven and Stamford, but they are looking to,
In Norwalk.
I think East Norwalk they
East
mentioned.
Norwalk,
I'll use their word, densify, I think they use.
yeah. Did you get their word?
Kidding.
So we got another meeting coming up to talk about,
Darien's locations.
yeah, I think the question is, Stamford, New Haven, and East Norwalk were certainly proceeding.
Was
And
the
then-
one in New Britain or?
I think they talked
some
about New
towns I
Britain
never
as
heard
well.
of?
So they're talking about it. I don't know if DOT has the bandwidth to do that many communities all at
Yeah.
once, because these are, find the land, find the concept,
Yeah.
partner up. It's pretty heavy lift, but
Yeah, I would have thought it
DOT is.
would be the Department of Housing if we have one, I think
No,
we do.
it's-
Something like that. Whatever,
It's-
Yvonne Klein was Commissioner of Housing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I kind of sort of remember when Karen Gately was on the commission, there was some kind of website that the state has where they were given minutes to meetings, and maybe you know how to research this stuff, but they're like, they were supposed to look at 18 or 24 train stations. And the minutes of the meeting would come out and say, oh, we looked at 3 train stations this weekend, and they would see what they were. And then a month later, when they had another meeting, they looked at another 2 train stations. And they went on and on and on, And I got a phone call one day when there was a DOT pickup truck in the Coons lot. And he said, what are they doing here? And I was like, I don't know. And it was like 5 years ago. And someone took a picture of it and sent it to me. I said, I have not the fucking idea. But I think what they're talking about is, I mean, they own the land. We've said that, for years. They own the land at the Darien train station, the Norwood Heights train station, and they own a big piece of dirt over on Mechanic Street. But they can't do anything, really. They can't do much without the town. But that's what I think they got a pot of money from somebody to run, environmental reports, but I don't know. Okay. Good? Anything else, Jeremy?
Nothing else.
All right, good. Next item on the agenda, approval of minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes on January 6th and January 13th. So if we can go through those real quick, that would be nice. January 6th, any questions, comments, typos, scrivener's errors on this one? We had another meeting with Neil on that one. I think all 4 of us were here, 5 of us were here?
Yes.
Yeah, all 5 of us were here.
No, Adam,
says
but the
Adam's
remaining
here.
4, you're correct.
Yeah. There's a Heights Corners one, one of the ones on the gas station we just talked about, 805, a couple of resolutions. Yeah, that's the deliberations on the Heights Corners one, and then a resolution. Yep, and then we also, I guess, proposed for, Xanadu Capital's in here too, which is the 76 Tokenique Road. Questions, comments, typos, errors on this one? With that, entertain a motion to approve as submitted. Amy makes a motion for a second, Jay makes a second, all in favor?
4-0 is right.
Minutes
Got
are
it.
approved, fantastic. There was something I wanted to say about that, but I guess not. The next item is, we had a special meeting. Should this be called a special meeting, the title of it?
Yeah, I guess you could call it a special meeting because it was
a special meeting, right? So it should be draft minutes, special meeting dated, blah, blah, blah.
Okay,
It should be a general meeting, then you go into executive session.
yeah.
So this was the special meeting that we had relative to the executive session on January 13th, 2026. Any questions, typos, comments, scrivener's errors on this one? Nope. Okay, looking for a motion to approve as submitted. Jamie makes a motion. George made the second. All in favor? Minutes approved. Fantastic.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
To go back, you said you maybe wanted to say something about the minutes of the last meeting, and that prompted me to think, this doesn't note that I recused myself from Xanadu. And since I was attending the meeting.
It's on January 6th meeting.
Yeah, January 6th, back there.
This is on which page?
Towards the back.
Well, it is not stated on, I don't have page numbers here.
Page 9. Pros and amendments to the zoning mayor for Xanadu.
Yeah.
Just reviewed, draft in favor.
I think we mentioned, I see. You, bottom of page 9, Mr. Riley recused himself and left the meeting.
Okay, if that says that, okay, good. I'm
Where does
sorry,
it say
I missed
that?
Bottom of page
Oh,
9.
yeah, it does, yep.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, good, sorry.
At 8:41 PM, our planning show read the item and said
Great.
Mr. Riley recused himself.
It's all right, don't want to take any more time then, thank you.
That's cool, no, we're fine. There was something else popped in my head, but maybe it went away. Upcoming meetings, February 10th, I cannot be in attendance.
Yep.
Oh, that's what it was, okay, I have something else here. I cannot be in attendance. Hopefully we have a quorum, but you may cancel it anyway.
We're going to probably cancel that meeting.
Okay,
I can't be there, so.
Oh,
really?
I
Well,
know
quorum
what all
anyway.
that is.
Done.
There you go.
And then the 24th, which is after vacation for school kids.
Yep.
And 3 of us don't have any school kids, but Jamie does, so you'll be
I have
happy.
plenty for everyone.
Like everyone? You only got 3, right?
4.
There you go.
I'll go.
There was a time, I think the commissions, we had like 16 kids in the school system. Like, do you want to build a new school? We're like, yeah, for our kids. So the next meeting is the 24th.
It appears that way at this time, yeah.
Fantastic. The only thing I want to add relative to the chairman's report, and I apologize for going back, is Mike Netter did submit an email of resignation in December to the town clerk's office.
That's correct.
The RTC and myself and anyone else who is is looking to find a replacement for Mike. I do apologize. They should have done it a while ago. I had some ideas and have some ideas in there. The RTC, because it's a Republican seat, it can either be an independent or a Republican. It can't be a Democrat, sorry to say. But that's where the rules are written.
Only as a political matter, it can't be.
Correct.
Legal matter could be, but that's all right.
Really? Sure. Okay. He's a lawyer, man. So I think hopefully we get another person to get on the commission in the next, hopefully it's less than a month. And whoever does get on has to rerun for a re-election in November of 2026. I thought it would be the next municipal election, which would be November 2027.
Mr. McNamara was very clear with me that, nope, whoever gets appointed has to run in November.
Yeah.
They do.
Not because his term would have ended then, but.
No.
Yeah. You have to be
Which
elected.
I think makes sense.
Yeah, I guess.
We always did have it like that, but it was on the next coming municipal election. We'd have a municipal election really until 2027. But she checked it, and whoever it is going to, they're in for whatever, 6 months, whatever when's the election.
8 months.
8 months. Okay. So that's that. I apologize. Any other business to add? Nope. Okay.
Thank you.
Motion. Looking for a motion to adjourn at 9:25. Jamie makes a motion. Looking for a second. Amy makes a second. All in favor? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.